Disc Sessions with Pastor Lynn Blackburn.
Good evening, everyone, to our last Thursday night of our desk session coming from my office. The last 3 weeks we've been covering the mystery of creation, and last Thursday night we were speaking about the dwelling place. And so tonight I'm going to continue coming from that chapter, the book of Psalms, chapter 91. So I need for you to get focused this evening. I invite somebody on your Facebook page to join with us and share this with your circle of friends, and because we're going to continue our discussion from last Thursday night. I appreciate your comments and hope that everything that we have attempted to say and teach has encouraged you. Going back to Psalms chapter 91, I spoke briefly last Thursday night in regards to the psalm, that it's more than just a lyric. It's more than just a chant that you can quote from the scriptures. But the penman, when writing this, he was making a declaration. It was his communion that he had with God, that there's a dwelling place, and that dwelling place is that communion. As I said last week, it's like a parlor where relationships are strengthened or even birthed. And it's important that the time that we're living in, that we understand how God is moving and the method that he's moving in. And we understand that he's not always limited to one style and to one method or to one denomination and one traditional way. God is diverse, and God has many methods, probably limitless methods, to relate his will to his people. But I want to talk to you on our final desk session tonight about the sacredness of silence. I think this will help all of you. I know in my own life I had to adopt this doctrine into my own life, train my mind and discipline myself, because I learned that there is something sacred about silence. There's something holy about silence, and when you're able to hold your peace, because we talked about peace last week, but there's something sacred about being silent and about silence itself. Not feeling compelled to reveal your plans, and nor feel the need to shout out your dreams and to the world. And sometimes, in my opinion, the most powerful thing you can do is to keep silent, be quiet, because silence, as I stated, is sacred at times. It's more powerful than you think. Now, in your comments, I want to hear from you, wherever you might be in the country, wherever. I want to hear from you in regards to what I'm talking about tonight, because again, silence is more powerful than you think. As you are, as I say, developing in God, you will learn about the sacredness of silence, because it will change your outlook on life. And in that change, everybody will not be able to relate to you, because everyone now can handle this new you, because they don't understand your dwelling place, because it is spiritual and everyone cannot relate to that. Your dwelling place is spiritual, and even family members and your closest friends might not be able to relate to that. And it is in this seasons of silence when you can learn to not reveal everything that God has or is showing you. And I am reminded that when Jesus, in scriptures, when he would heal some people, after healing them, he would instruct them. He would say, "Go and tell no one." And the reason being because Jesus knew when the season would be the best time to reveal what was hidden and what is under the radar. Sometimes we can do too much and we can say too much. I'm reminded in the scriptures, and go with me in the story about Samson. Y'all remember Samson? Do you know that Samson lost his power by revealing where his strength laid? He revealed what he should have been kept a secret. And because of that, he lost his power and he lost his vision. Stay with me. When he revealed too much to the world, he lost his power and his vision. When God reveals to you, now catch this, when God reveals to you your next move, you will have to learn to move in silence. Even when you're kind of laying down the foundation for your vision, you have to learn to build in silence. I like to use it like this. I tell people, I say, you don't tell people that you're going to buy a new house. You don't tell them that. You just show them the keys after you have bought the new house, because they probably didn't even think you could afford it to begin with. So move in silence. You don't tell, you shouldn't tell people that you're buying a new car. You just drive up with it and don't tell nobody your plans. And the reason being because you have to understand that a fresh vision is a fragile vision. A new vision is like a newborn baby. You don't expose it too soon. You don't expose the baby to people and to everyone all at once. That means you have to learn to move with precision and with methodical planning and moving intentionally without revealing your plans and the blueprints for your life. Everybody don't need to know. Because when God gives you a vision, you protect it and you guard it. Like that baby, you wrap it up with wisdom and bathe it with prayer. Because everyone doesn't deserve to know your next move. You've got to learn to refrain from telling every plan you have. Don't give your blueprints of your life to people who are spiritually illiterate. Don't feel to the need to show your next project to people who has never built anything. Listen carefully. If the people around you, and I believe this, and I had to learn this the hard way, but if people around you don't match your vibe, then you will have to change the people, not the vibe. Because your vision is fresh, and at the same time, it is fragile. It has to grow in silence. Like the seed in the ground, it is beneath the dirt, which is in a dark place, but it grows without an audience. It grows when people aren't looking. Do you know you have never heard a tree grow? Why? Because it grows in silence. Listen, you leak your energy and power when you overshare. Privacy is power, and privacy is protection. Maturity is keeping your next move private. Spiritual maturity is keeping your next move private. Don't feel the need to explain yourself and the need of telling people more than they need to know. There are people maybe in your circle that can be very perfidious, deceitful, and untrustworthy. So you must move what I call move in caution, because your next move is not always announced. And catch this, your next move is not always announced on a platform or in the spotlight. When God reveals to you the next move, it'll be in the back room. It'll be in the background. Because let me tell you something about vision. It can be laid out to you on the backside of the desert and be spoken through an unlikely source, like the Bible would call it the burning bush. Moses' vision was given to him where there was no audience, no fanfare, no fancy light. There was no music, no choir, no performances. He was actually in a very dry place. And he had been in that place, in that desert, for 40 years. And during this time, God was doing something. God was sculpturing Moses and his character. Dry seasons that you may have in your life is where God is preparing the heart and testing the faith. Dry seasons, my friend, is not a punishment, but an enlargement. It is where God is stretching you, like I said last week, and not stressing you. When Moses eventually came to the bush that was on fire, he did not show up to the bush with a shout. When he drew nigh to the bush, he drew nigh in silence. Listen, God needs your attention, not your performance. I believe sometimes too many of us are distracted with church protocols and tradition, seeing who is the most spiritual one in the building, who is the most like, or who sings better, or who preaches better. The church has a lot of noise in these days, but no instructions. We have performances over power. We want validation over conviction. We seek approval from the world more than approval from God. In fact, the church, in my opinion, has lost its ability to bring relevance to the people. For the church in this generation has become an afterthought. Instead of being the center of the eternal purpose of God, we have become an afterthought. And so many churches are operating out of emotions to the point that the church has lost its ability to reveal to the people who God is. And this is the thing that concerns me as a pastor. We are having church without Christ. We're having gatherings without the Holy Ghost. We have the church noise, but we have no vision. And I believe that there's a different, I believe that we're in a different season, but I also want you to know, I believe that there are different seasons in all of our lives. Some Christians can be in one season while others in another season, but I want you to know that they all serve a purpose. My question is, do you know what season you are in? For many, it is the season of learning to move in silence, not being distracted by minute things. A season where drama from other people's lives are not permitted into your life. It is a season of knowing your purpose and your calling, a season for growth and an enlargement of your territory. But I am convinced that some are confused about the silent season. You might be asking, where is God in this season? But I want you to understand, don't fear the silence. Silence does not mean abandonment. Now put that down in the comments. Silence does not mean abandonment. Miracles are performed in silence. Faith is at its best in silence, because it is in the silence that your faith rises up and say, I still trust in God. I may not know the next move right now, but I will trust him. I will trust you, even though I cannot trace you. Because in your silent season is growing season. Did you get that? Silent season is growing season. You are growing even when no one understands the process that you're in. In fact, they will misinterpret your motive and even judge your appearance and your countenance during that season. They don't understand why you're not responding to things. They see you ignoring the insults. They see that you're ignoring the punches, the critics. Why? Because your vision has changed. You may think that you're in a dry season, but the reality is God is positioning you, not punishing you. Let me give you something that happened a few days ago. Stephanie asked me to walk with her to her garden and to see the vegetables. As I was there, I picked up the water hose and I began to spray the garden with water, and immediately she stopped me and she said, "Don't water them." And I asked why, and I said, the soil here on the top, it felt dry. And she says, "I know, but I want the roots to reach out and search for the water." She said these words. She said, "The roots will never grow if they're always wet." She said the roots grow when they are in a dry season. They will stretch in the dry season. Translation, it's not stressing season, it's stretching season. And people have decided among themselves that they're in the stretching season who God can use, because during the stretching season we think God is not using them. Do you know that we have people who have been voted out from their pulpit, that God was actually stretching them in dry season for someone who was performing behind the pulpit? I'd rather have someone who was stretching behind the pulpit than someone who's performing behind the pulpit. Because there is a misconception about who God can call and who God chooses to use. Let me be clear. You do not have to be seen to be chosen. Did you hear that? You do not have to be seen to be chosen. David was not seen in order to be chosen. He was chosen way before he was seen. You don't have to be popular to be powerful. You don't have to pursue a title to be anointed. In fact, stop being upset when your name is not called. It's not that they forgot you. It is God who is hiding you. Know the difference. Stop looking for a stage when you haven't never sat on the backside of a desert to be tested. God's timing will not line up on your schedule. He knows how long it would take and what it will take to get you ready to be powerful. Learn to sit still. The calmer you are, the clearer you are. The calmer you are, the clearer you think. You must move, my friends. Learn to move with a strategy, not with emotions. Learn to grow in silence. Don't reveal your plans to the world too soon. In fact, everyone should not have access to you or to your vision. Know who's around you. Know who's helping you or who is hindering you. You're not for everybody. Did you get that? You are not for everybody. Everybody can't handle you. In fact, there are 3 stages you must have in your life. 3. 1, when somebody does you wrong, apology accepted, stage number 1. Stage number 2, trust denied. Stage number 3, access terminated. Everyone is not going with you in the same direction, so everyone should not have access to you and your vision. Why? Because you're going somewhere. Your plan does not include everybody. Learn this lesson. Success does attract enemies. Progress invites jealousy. If nobody hates you, you're not making the progress. Because rumors are carried by haters, spread by fools, and accepted by idiots. And you got to understand that. You will be hated if you cannot be manipulated. And when God gives you a vision, a dream, a goal, you don't look around to see who will agree with you and the vision. If you start changing the vision to fit what is around you, then you're actually saying God doesn't have the ability to make it come to pass. And that's a true statement. When God gives you a vision, the next thing you see is darkness, then you wait, but you don't change the vision. Sometimes, as the scripture says in Psalm 91, you have to sit in the shadow until the time is right. Don't get ahead of God. Don't try to jumpstart your ministry before He has prepared to bring you out of hiding. I have a saying, a fruit that is quick to ripen is quick to rotten. And the devil, if you're not careful, will try to push you to get ahead of God, and he will make things nebulous or unclear for you. And he will obfuscate or confuse you about what God has said to you and about your purpose. In fact, he will use betrayal to stop you from trusting in his plan. And let me tell you something, because I'm well experienced in this. Let me tell you something about betrayal. Those who betray you once will betray you 100 times. But understand, you don't have to drink the whole sea to realize that it is salty. Let it go and move on. Learn to walk away from anything that doesn't serve your growth. You need to hear that. You need to be looking for someone that can build with you, not for someone you've got to carry. Bless God. In fact, you have to believe in yourself, not in their opinion. Don't get frustrated when people reject you. You know, nice things are rejected all the time by people who can't afford them. Some people can't afford you. You're not on a clearance rack. You're not half off price. Your vision is greater than their ability to understand. Because it is better, in my opinion, to be a wolf that everyone hates than to be a donkey that everyone rides. Do not trade respect for attention. Eagles don't take flight lessons from chickens. Stop going with the flow and become the flow. You're not here to fit in, but to stand out. Don't be afraid to be different. Be afraid of being the same as everyone else. Don't be so thirsty that you will drink from everyone else's cup that is presented to you. Be selective, be smart, be wise, not desperate. Stop giving 100% of yourself to people who will only give you 50% of themselves to you. Let your circle be small because you are into quality, not quantity. You should never chase people, my friend, who's walking away from you. Never chase, just replace, but don't chase. If they are walking away from you, let them go. God prefers you to live in a dangerous freedom than a peaceful slavery. And you will be surprised how many people with your vision and your dwelling place you can still upset by just being happy and minding your own business. Do you know that some people are like clouds? That when they disappear, it's a beautiful day. My friends, let them go. Because God is preparing you for greater things. But you have to be willing to let go of the things and people that doesn't see your worth, nor understand your goals. God has given to you things that you cannot get out of a book. He has given to you life experiences. And sometimes life experiences can be hurtful and even at times damaging. But you don't learn about life because of age, but through hurts and through pains, you and I learn. You can't get that out of a book. You don't learn to swim by reading about water. God is preparing you for success. And how do you see yourself? What is your self-worth? What price tag have you put on yourself? Not what other people have said about you. How do you see yourself? Are you climbing up on the rough side of the mountain, or are you playing it safe at the base of the mountain? Are you feeling the gravitational pull to bring you back to being the ordinary person that you once were? Or are you feeling the power of God that is breaking the power of gravity that is taking you to your next dimension? You're not on the same level that everyone is, or the same level that you once were on. In fact, I am more and you are more than what you see. I am more than what the people see. In fact, they think they know you, but in reality, they don't. They see your smile, but they don't see your scars. They see your beauty, but not your pains. They see what you're driving now, but they didn't see you walking back then. They see your house now, but they didn't see your eviction notice back then. They see your good job now, but they didn't see you standing in the unemployment line back then. They think they know you, but they don't. In fact, they didn't see the silent worries at night. They didn't see the midnight hour tears. They didn't feel the abuse. They didn't see the rejection. They did not hear the word over and over again that you have been denied. They think they know you, but they don't have a clue what you've been through. They don't have a clue who you are. Why? Because you move in silence. And when you were going through the fire, you moved in silence. When the flood water started to rise, you moved in silence. When the chaos began to disturb your calmness, you begin to move in silence. And that's why people don't get you, because you speak truth to power. You stand firm on your faith, and you don't feel the need to explain yourself. You're a woman with purpose. You're a man with goals. You don't need the clubs. You don't need the homeboys. You got goals and visions. You got a plan in your life. And remember this, when you stand up and speak truth, you just don't make noise. You make enemies, because truth shakes comfort. But understand, what God told you to be, you will never fit in. Be okay with that. You will not be liked by most people, but you got to be okay with that. Don't feel the need to fix everybody else's issue. Teach yourself that someone else's emergency is not your emergency. Stop running for miles for people who wouldn't even take a step for you. Circumvent these type of people very wisely and cleverly. Avoid people who just wants to take from you but never add anything to you. You've got to develop the ability to be disliked in order to free yourself from the prison of other people's dramas. It is okay to say no to fastidious people who are so hard to please. Don't capitulate or give in to people who are always nebulous or unclear about their motives. Precarious people, in my opinion, will drain you because they're always unstable and insecure. The fact is, if you're not losing friends, you're not growing. Again, you will be hated if you cannot be manipulated. I personally never beg for a seat when I know I can build my own table. Never ever, hear me, replace your purpose for pleasure. You are made for more. You're more powerful than you give yourself credit for. You've been through too much hell to be settled where you're at. God's got greater dimensions for you, higher levels. Yes, there's mountains to climb, but you cannot be helicopter to the top to get there. You're going to have to go through the process. You're going to have to go through the struggles. But that's the cool thing about the dwelling place. The arrows may come by me at night. Nightmares may be there. Dreams of failures may seem to pop up in my mind, but I am steadfast knowing who I am in Jesus Christ. I know how far He has brought me, and everybody don't understand my testimony. They for years have seen me or seen you like we are, and they think that's the way it's always been. No, you got to understand. They're looking at a chapter, but they're not looking at the whole book, because you've had to go through a whole lot to be where you're at tonight. And that's the reason why in these days that we're living in, you got to have that dwelling place, that communion with God, not just in church, but at home. But I am so grateful for our church. I'm so grateful that I can come here and worship God with you and with our community and bless the Lord, because these are trying times. These are trying times. And so I encourage you to stay steadfast in your faith. It is my prayer that I pray that the last 4 Thursday nights have encouraged you, and that you have learned something and been inspired to continue to run the race that God has set for you. You're too blessed to be that stressed, okay? Get up, rise up, run the race that God has set before you, all right? God bless you. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Share this with your friends again. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless.
It's been an episode of The Desk Sessions with Pastor Lynn Blackburn.